students, I thought it would be very nice just to do a simple charcoal unit. Now, it is easier to roll up sleeves, get things off that you don't need. Charcoal is very messy. I'd recommend even an apron in certain cases. The same goes with chalk pastels. I will use a couple of different things than what I might mention, but things that work, like a Kleenex or a piece of paper towel roll would be fine. So what we'll do is we'll just work with a simple fruit. I don't think I'll work on the white paper. I think we'll work on some of this slightly more textured. It has more teeth, more tooth. Manila paper. Okay, and then here's some materials that you might actually find very, very helpful as we kind of go through this. Okay, so pencils, of course, you're familiar with. This is a 6B pencil, so it's going to be quite a bit softer, which means it's going to be darker. Your HB or your H pencils will be lighter. Okay, and now there is the compressed charcoal pencil. This is a 557 2B medium 2B pencil. Compressed charcoal, just like the sticks of charcoal that you get, these two are going to be very, very black because like they're actually artificially compressed into a chalk stick. Okay, whereas you have these little very light frail pieces that give you a lighter wispier type quality of line making, mark making, and they're more fluid. They brush off a lot easier. This is willow, like willow tree, willow charcoal, so actual sticks that are burned down. This looks gross. This is what you call a kneaded eraser. You knead it just like you would knead or wedge clay. You pull it apart. You saw how dirty and black it was at first. This is actually how you clean the eraser, by stretching it, all of it out. And it will continue to pick up. It will wear down more and more, but it will pick up charcoal or pencil, but particularly charcoal, very easy. And you just re-knead it, re-stretch it, reformulate it, and get rid of the memory and the values, the dark rich values. So it kind of gives you an idea. That is kneaded eraser. They usually come in little blocks. Okay, gonna set that aside. Also, the big white eraser is good. You can always, good tip here, always wash your hands, especially if you're working with really, really large charcoal drawings, and wash erasers, dry them off real well. That will continue to keep your work cleaner and nicer and not smudge. Charcoal smudge is worse than almost anything that you will work with. What I might do is take this white paper that's underneath here and use this as a barrier if you have to apply pressure by sitting your hand down. When you do this, I'm drawing back and forth, I would be smudging underneath this, but if I keep this paper down, it keeps the smudges from happening. So that's what we'll use this paper for. Now, usually when it comes to drawing, even drawing pencil, but especially drawing in charcoal, you're drawing as much, if not more, with an eraser. Okay, that may not make sense. That even though you're layering, you're still taking things away. You're building up different values. So this is just the Pentel's Cly Eraser ZE22. You can buy the replacement erasers. They have a little bevel in here, and so they actually just stick. Just apply a little bit of pressure, and it'll pull it. And you can draw with this to the scumbling technique, and then you can actually blend out. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. You can also use applicators, cotton swab applicators or Q-tips, as well as different, you can buy the blending stumps, but they are expensive. You can always take a piece of scrap paper, roll it up to where it comes to a point, like stretch it, roll it up really tight, and you can use a rolled up paper to kind of blend if you don't want to use your fingers. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of what we need here. So you can start in pencil, you can start in charcoal. I'm going to work with the less precise willow charcoal first, but I would like to demonstrate the difference between the two. So I just have this peach in front of me, sitting in front of me. So what I'm going to do is just try to outline it. This is one method that you can do, of course. Get the shadow in. Right? I don't recommend drawing like a pencil though. This is actually what I recommend. So if I erase this, it shows you just how well that kneaded eraser works. Fix it all up, no problem. Gets rid of okay, alright. This is the best way to draw with charcoal. Create a gradation. You can blend it with your hand. You can blend it with a paper towel or something softer. Creates just a light gray. Then I can go back in and create my form. Okay, and then I can put it on its side. I can use hatching. I can even create some cross hatching. Now with this one, there's this darker, redder stripe kind of going through it. And you can use different techniques. I can use the circle scumbling method to kind of blend it in. But I really, really, really want to get this darker. Okay. Don't forget your shadow. Your shadow might even have, we have multiple lights. We have light coming from the camera. We have light coming from the fluorescent, so they're competing. So I see it's a little different looking on the camera. I see like a stretch here that's darker and a lighter shadow over here. So it'd be like overlap shadow from multiple light sources. It's going to be much darker underneath there. You can always draw different directions. You can give it a bend. I think just some simple directional hatching might be good for that. Now, I notice because it is in the round, you're going to notice that things like your apple, your peach, whatever it might be, even a sphere, a ball on a table, it's going to be dark, light, and then blend into dark and get lighter again. And it's just an illusion that's created because of the way that the light is kind of refracting around the form, right, and creating a shadow. Okay, we can just blend them out. Call it good. Now this is a simple form, of course, and you can erase, like let's say there's some areas that are a little bit lighter, and there's like a highlight here. I can actually, don't want too much out or it's going to break it. I can actually scumble it, but I can blend it if I don't like that texture. I can blend it out, see, and make it much smoother. I can actually cross hatch and blend out, right, that shadow. Okay, so hopefully sometimes it is important to give just a little bit. I'm doing a broken line, but where we can see those edges happening, right? There's some shadow in that little crease that happens right up here. There's definitely some shadow there. Alright, now let's say I wanted to push it further. I actually like this lighter quality, this more softer photographic quality. But if you wanted to go in, you can see just how much darker, and it is harder to blend as well. I wanted to give it more of a sketchy quality, more texture. This is a very nice tool for that. Right, so that you get an idea of just how much darker black that is. And then you have it, a simple charcoal demo. Works real well if you're able to. I recommend, if you're interested. It is messy, of course, but I recommend trying to do charcoal on top of watercolor paper, particularly heavier paper, something that has more texture to it, more tooth. It's going to give you beautiful textured drawings. Working very large from photographs, the gridding method is a good way I was taught. Direct observation, of course, also is a great way to build it up. Some people love to build skeleton, like if you're doing figure drawings, doing skeleton, your planes and your simple shapes and your stick figures that are intricate stick figures, to get down the information before you overlayer everything with charcoal. But this is definitely a good approach, and I definitely recommend playing with charcoal.